Hi everyone, I'm adding this disclaimer here to hopefully address some potential questions. See, I usually film my videos in bulk on my trips to theme parks. Therefore, I have quite a few backlogged that just haven't been released. Problem is that when the parks start to reopen in mid-July, they're going to look a lot different than what is pictured in my videos, and I just don't want to confuse viewers. So what I'm going to do is post as many as I can up until Walt Disney World begins to open on July 11th. So that's a video every day for the next 3 weeks or so. Once the park reopens, we'll work on showing you what they look like in real time. But for now, enjoy this walk through the parks of 2019. Hi guys, it is Brian here from Touring Plans. I am in Mexico. Well, I'm in EPCOT, but Mexico. You get it, I'm sure. What I am doing today is something a little new. This came from a viewer request who asked that instead of just giving a tour and kind of showing you around, which I am still going to do, give something a little more detailed, give actually like ratings, reviews, impressions of the things as I go by them. The way I am doing that for World Showcase is I broke it up into sections of 2 countries, and I'm just going to go through everything here, all the restaurants, the shops, the rides, tell you kind of what I think about them, what my coworkers do, and give the ratings by our users as they fill out the surveys at the end of the trip. So obviously, I'm in Mexico today. I will be covering both Mexico and Norway in this video. So now, first up, I'm starting right over here with the newest addition to the Mexico Pavilion, Choza de Margarita. This is basically a margarita stand. It just opened in late 2017. It gets a 92 thumbs up rating from our users. Now, the thumbs up ratings are basically an up-down scale. Did you like it? Did you not like it? So the average is pretty high. The average is around 84 or so %, and they are well above average. Now it basically just has like some appetizers, some drinks, frozen margaritas of course are their specialty. It's called Choza de Margarita. It is quite good. Next up on this list is right across the plaza from Choza de Margarita, and that is the Cantina de San Angele. This is the main quick service here. We have kind of basic Americanized Mexican food, tacos, things like that. It still does get 89% thumbs up from our readers. Still above average, just not quite as high as the margarita stand, which I guess makes sense. What really sells this here, now it is outdoor seating, so you're not going to get a ton of break from the humidity, but it is a beautiful view out over the lagoon there. If you have a little bit of a breeze, it's actually very pleasant seating. If you just want kind of basic tacos, nachos, stuff like that, still a good choice. The next thing you come to after the Cantina de San Angele, which is over there, is Hacienda de San Angele, which the entrance to is right there. Now this one gets an 89% thumbs up, so from our readers, which is above average. Not great though. We give it 3 stars, our staff does, out of 5. So, you know, slightly above average again. The simpler dishes are best if you stick with appetizers, things that are fairly common in America. They do pretty well. You know, when you start to get the adventurous stuff, it falls off a little bit. Like the Cantina, great views. There are windows on the other side. Just look out on the lagoon. Fantastic, fantastic views there. And if you're wondering, we only give star ratings to the table service restaurants, not to the quick service. Quick service, it changes too much. We do have our thoughts and opinions on the site, which is what I'm sharing with you, and of course the thumbs up, thumbs down ratings from our users, which I'm also sharing with you in case you're wondering why I didn't give stars for anything else. Moving on down this way, you see the pyramid behind me there. To the left over here is where Donald Duck meets, usually in his Mexico-themed sombrero and things. He's not there right now, but that's where he goes. And then the end of the Mexico Pavilion, right down here, is where the mariachi band will play a couple times a day. There is also a marimba band, which is just a few members short, which is actually the ones playing today. The full mariachi band is not playing today, and actually no one's playing right now because they'd be right where I'm standing. But this is where you would see them. There is this little shop here that sells some Coco merchandise. The mariachi band here actually used to do the story of Coco, where they had a pretty cool puppet. But still lots of Coco merch in here. I love Dia de los Muertos merch. Modelo and Corona beer shirts, more cocoa stuff. Those mugs are pretty cool, actually. I like this mug. Look, it even has the little kind of logo for the Mexico Pavilion EPCOT back there. $23. That's actually not terrible. And then this one is more cocoa themed. This black one, also $23. Toothpick holders, $12 there. I do love the aesthetics of Dia de los Muertos is amazing. I love it. And if you want a comically large sombrero or just to walk back here, put one on for a picture, this is where. You also have these drum things, which reminds me of Karate Kid Part 2. That's just me. All right, so let's head inside the pavilion. Of course, inside the pavilion, they always have in the front kind of art pieces and things. When I'm shooting this, it is close to Dia de los Muertos, so that is what you are seeing. Lots and lots of stuff for that. And it works out great for Disney because of Coco, which is kind of about that, so they can use a lot of that stuff. Further in here, we get to the main part of the pavilion. This is Plaza De Los Amigos, is what it is officially called. The Perpetually nighttime plaza. Definitely one of the better looking pavilions inside here. And it is just full of shops, from these little handmade things. In some cases you can see people actually making them. They're always over here, to the more traditional sombreros, drums, a lot of the stuff we saw outside there. Just really, really neat looking things. Great place to browse. Not a great place to have like toddlers running around that can grab all of this easily breakable stuff. Some jewelry there. T-shirts for the Mexico Pavilion with Donald Duck, Jose, and Panchito. Got them all. And the reason, of course, they are on there, the Three Caballeros. That is what the ride is themed after, which we are getting to. It is busy in here. What is not very busy, and that is the Grand Fiesta Tour right there. Of course, featuring the Three Caballeros. It is a 1944 film called The Three Caballeros. We give it 3 stars. Most of our users give it 3.5, except for preschoolers and grade schoolers, which give it a full 4 out of 5. So you have little ones, they are more likely to enjoy that. It is a nice calm boat ride through Mexico, kind of, a little bit. And right here is the San Angele Inn. This is a very, very picturesque restaurant. The Grand Fiesta Tour boat actually goes right over there in between the tables in that pyramid. It's down a little lower so you can't see it. We only give this 3 stars. We've had very mixed reactions here. It's good, and that you can find things that you don't normally find at Disney restaurants or American restaurants a lot of times, unless it's very Mexico focused. But the actual execution of those has been hit and miss. It does get 84% thumbs up from our users, so it's right about average. And then a lot of the bonus here is the atmosphere. Very, very cool atmosphere. If you have a hard time reading menus in the dark, you might want to use that flashlight on your phone, because it's not bright in here. Also a few more set up shops like this one. This one is currently selling some beautiful dolls. Also clothing, but more Dia de los Muertos stuff over there. Too much in here. This pavilion currently is very busy. Part of it is because they have a lot of ropes and things set up for the Grand Fiesta Tour that I cannot quite figure out. Anyway, we're showing shops. So this is the Princesa de Cristal. You're gonna guess what's in here. It is crystal. So lots and lots of very fancy crystal. Tinkerbell for $600. You would not bring a kid in here. Just saying. But it is pretty. But even the little ones, you know, this little piglet that's right there, $95. That seems high. I'm always self-conscious talking at the camera when I'm doing these, but when I'm just surrounded by people, it makes it a little worse. Another thing that makes this pavilion busy almost constantly is La Cava del Tequila behind me here. No surprise, like a lot of the bars, this gets very good ratings from our users, 93% thumbs up. We enjoy it very much. It is a tequila bar primarily. but it is very, very nicely decorated inside. It's small though, so if you want to get a seat, you're probably going to have to wait a little while. These people standing out here, those are just waiting for the to-go orders. If the lines are very long at both here and Choza de Margarita outside, I would say come in here because it's air conditioned in here. You're not standing in the sun. And they sell similar things at similar prices. And that's it. That is the Mexico Pavilion. I'm just trying to find a place to stand because it is just chock full of people at the moment. And now let's head over to Norway. And now we have made it to Norway. This is the newer section of Norway, the countryside over here. And it is beautiful. I mean, this scene behind me of the rocks behind this kind of log building, it's really great. And this is where you can meet Anna and Elsa specifically, right there. We don't have enough ratings actually to give you a user ratings, but I imagine there would be very high, especially among younger visitors, I'm guessing. It is, and you know, breaking the magic slightly here, this is one of those where there are multiple meeting areas, so the wait's never too terrible. Right now it is posted at 10 minutes, and I mean, you can see how busy this is around me. So you want to meet Anna and Elsa, this is where you do it. Now, one note about Norway, Cart here now actually sells a Norwegian beer. This is Aas Pilsner. It is spelled A-A-S-S, and they say on the sign, pronounced Aas, because you know how you would want to pronounce that, and they do too. They also sell Einstök, which is an Icelandic beer, and they do have a porter, which I didn't catch where that one was from. The beer selections here in EPCOT still bother me a little bit, but the one here was always the worst because they used to sell Einstök and Carlsberg, and neither of those are from Norway. Let's head over here into the Wandering Reindeer. This is the shop on this side that I believe is the exit to the Royal Sommerhus. These pronunciations are probably terrible, which is where you meet Anna and Elsa. It is mostly just open space. Of course, and all Frozen merch, so, you know, makes sense. I don't necessarily mind the Frozen stuff being in Norway, even though Arendelle was not a real place, but I do wonder how the actual Norwegians that work here feel about their country being taken over by Frozen. It can't be great, I wouldn't think. This here, of course, is a traditional stave church. Like you find, they have the exhibit right now is Gods of the Vikings. I have not been in here in a very long time. Of course, Thor and Loki from the movies. Oh, thank you. Very neat. I am glad at least in there there was a Frozen exhibit in there for a little while. I'm glad that has at least gone back to more traditional Norwegian things. I love the details here, like the grass on that roof, very much like they would do. There's also a little Remy all the way up at the top. That is for food and wine. That's one of the things, I talk a lot on here about how much I love these pavilions, but that's why it's a lot of these details and very loud birds. So all right, you know, while we're here, let's walk into the Creme De La Bakery or Cafe. This gets a 95% thumbs up from our users, which is very good. They sell pastries, desserts. I mean, how can you go wrong with that stuff? The relatively famous school bread is here, rice cream, and that's not, I didn't mispronounce ice cream there. Here are some of the things they have in there. The springtime lemon cheesecake looks very pretty anyway. There's some lefse, flatbread with butter. But out the back here is where there is some covered seating back there for it. But I think it's mostly meant as a grab and go kind of place. Now, of course, the one and only ride, hey, I'm back in the same place with the grass behind me. The one and only ride here in the Norway Pavilion is back there. It is Frozen Ever After, formerly the Maelstrom. It definitely gets some heat, mostly because it introduces characters to another pavilion, and a lot of people don't like characters in EPCOT. Hi, Len Testa. I have given up the fight about characters in EPCOT quite a while ago, So judging it just on the ride, I think it's a good ride. It might be better than Maelstrom, I don't know. Our users, I will say, rate it a good solid 4 stars. The younger ones, 4.5 out of 5. That's good. Kids love it, and everyone else thinks it's a above average, pretty solid ride. So you're not going to hear any Frozen Ever After hate on these videos. Sorry. And over here, which serves as the exit for Frozen Ever After, is the fording, or the fjording, I suppose. This is where you will find some Norway shirts that just say Norway. I always do wish that these clothes that just say the name of the pavilion used the names that the locals call it. Now, I actually don't know the Norwegian word for Norway is. It's perhaps Norway, but I do always think that. Lots of troll stuff back there, beware of trolls. The big photo op here is that big troll back there. Back here is more Frozen stuff. Like I said, this is the exit for Frozen Ever After, so that is to be expected. But this one, at least the front of the shop, is all actual kind of Norwegian related merchandise, stuff that was here before. So that's nice. Lastly, for the Norway Pavilion, we have Akershus Royal Banquet Hall in this very stately castle behind me. This is princess meal, breakfast, lunch, dinner. The feature princess here is Belle. That means you will get a picture with Belle in her big yellow frilly dress before you go in. Inside, you will meet characters like Snow White, Sleeping Beauty. It's kind of a rotating cast from there. I like this quite a bit. Now, that is different than apparently most people, because our users give it 85% thumbs up, which is just slightly above average. On Touring Plans officially, we have it listed as a 2-star restaurant, which means it is below average. I disagree. I think it is a maybe 3.5 star. I think it is a little above average as a restaurant. But if you want to meet the princesses, I think it's probably the best. If your children or you don't care that much about eating in the castle and Cinderella Royal Table, this is a better value. It is cheaper. If you are using the dining plan, it is only 1 credit. Cinderella Royal Table is 2 credits. So it is a much better value. Plus, if you get that 8 a.m. breakfast reservation, 8:05 technically, and the park opens at 9, you can go in, eat, walk out, and walk right onto the Frozen Ever After ride. It's a really good situation all around. And the dinner is kind of adventurous, and I wonder if that's why the ratings are a little lower, because some of it is a little unusual, but everything I've had has been pretty good. You know, I'm telling you what everybody else thinks. I think a little more highly of this than everyone else, I guess. But that's it. That's Norway for you. Hopefully you enjoyed this. Please let me know what you think of these videos and everything. And thank you for watching. Listen to each other.